All right, brand babies, how y'all doing today? It's your ghetto country grandmother, and yes, we are in Grandma's house, and we're about to do this podcast with my girl Alexis. Wait till y'all hear her two-word brand. It is all the things. Oh my goodness, I did a master class, and she came up with this, and she gonna work this shit. So we're gonna kind of talk about that today too. But y'all know I'm gonna let her do what she do before we start digging into it. So Miss Alexis, come on, tell us who you are, what you're doing, what we talking about today.
Absolutely. My name is Alexis Mobley. I'm the founder of I Matter Coaching and Consulting. I like to say that I am a force wrapped in compassion. I work with specifically women, but my passion is working with Black women, and I help them activate transformation within their life, moving from chaos to clarity. On the flip side, working with brands and organizations, and from a consulting perspective,
Mm-hmm.
to ensure that the individuals within their organizations have the support that they need.
Okay, all right. So tell us about this. What'd you say? Something wrapped in compassion?
A force
A
wrapped in
force. Tell us about
compassion.
this force. Tell us about this force.
So the two-word brand that we came up with, um, when it makes me smile just thinking about it. Do you want me to reveal to your
Yeah,
audience
go
what
on
it
and tell
is?
them your two-word brand.
So the two-word brand is the Velvet Hammer.
Uh-huh.
And anyone who knows me professionally, anyone who knows me personally, it makes sense because it's the duality of my personality.
Yeah.
And the hammer is that I am a very straightforward person. I have a strong personality, and I appreciate and recognize that I'm not for everybody. And you either fall into one or two camps. You either love me and you want more of me, or you hate me and you do not want to see me again. And I made peace with that a long time ago. But if you know me personally, you know that I am the kindest, gentlest, softest teddy bear. But you
Mhm.
also know, don't fuck with me.
Don't fuck with me. I'm with you on that one. I'm with you on
Like,
that one.
and also, people know personally and professionally that I am that person you come to when you want truth. Like, I am never mean spirited about it. I don't
Mhm.
deliver um, information specifically to belittle anyone, but I am going to give you truth. And if you
Mhm.
do not want truth, I'm the wrong person you
I'm
need
the
to talk
wrong
to.
person. And I tell people that all the time. Don't ask questions you don't truly want answers to.
Whew.
And as tactful as I try to be most of the time, it's like, sweetie, I don't know how else to say this. Do you want it straight or do you want me to shut the fuck up? Because it's
Yes.
it's people they think they want to hear confirmation of what it is they're asking you. And it's like, but I'm not going to give you that if I don't agree. So
Right.
I totally get that force wrapped in compassion. I love that. I love that for real. So, but I want to know, how are you going to further unpack this? Because the other thing you had on your profile, was it
The
cat herding ballerina?
cat herding ballerina. So, okay, I actually did a whole LinkedIn post about that as well. And again, that comes from my time in tech.
Mm-hmm.
So let me just give you some context on my time
Give
in
me
tech.
some. Give me some.
I started off my career as an engineer, computer science minor, and I heard that you started off life that way too, ma'am.
Yes,
I
yes.
heard that. And my goal was to sit in a corner and code. That's all I wanted to do. And I'm curious. And so I would ask the project manager certain questions about the project, and they didn't have the answers. And I thought, well, if you don't know, who the hell knows? And so that got me curious about, well, what actually is project management? And that led me to becoming a project manager, program manager, being a director, standing up PMOs across organizations, software implementation globally, et cetera, et cetera. But in all of that, I overwhelmingly worked in white male spaces. And being one of the only Black women who had the technical chops that I had to give as well as I got.
Wow.
And I had to navigate personalities that did not want me in the room, whether that be for my gender or for my race. And so I, in order to describe my job to people who were not in tech, because people don't understand what a project manager is now more so than they did back then.
Mhm.
I was like, okay, look, let me break it down to you this way. If you think of a bunch of cats, literal cats, cats have attitudes.
Yes.
Cats want to go where the fuck cats want to go.
Yes.
Cats do not like being told what to do. Now, replace the word cat with engineer. And I said, if you think about a ballerina who is always on their toes,
On their toes.
I, as the ballerina, had to navigate all of these personalities and convince these personalities that they were moving in their defined direction simultaneously. And I had
Wow.
to ensure that they played nicely. And that was a visual that people could wrap their heads around,
Mhm.
and it stuck.
Wow. Wow. And so it's like you're your own little hidden figure story, sounds like. Gotta go where? Cross over there to go to the bathroom because y'all fucking with me.
I mean, people don't under if I understand, like, in 2023, tech is more, quote, "inclusive and diverse" than it has been in years. It has
Mhm.
a hell of a long way to go. But I cut my teeth in an age where, like, my first real job out of college was at IBM,
Oh, wow.
where we had to wear suits to work,
Oh,
heels to
yeah.
work. We had skirt lengths that were, it had to be a certain length. And there were no shenanigans that were involved. And no one cared that you were X, Y, or Z. You were hired to do a job, figure it out. All that
Wow.
other stuff, people don't like you, people are, not wanting to give you information. You need to figure out how to get that done. And so again, I tell people my favorite Tupac line, I didn't make this world. I was given this world.
See? That
So
part
I am a product of my
of my
environment.
environment. Yes.
If
Yes.
you want to understand why I navigate the way I do, I operate with the mentality a lot of days of, I can't even say mediocre, but just to say an average white man. I show up like, well, you know what? What did Bob do today?
Yeah,
Okay,
what
let's
would
do that.
Jesus do? What would Bob do?
It being in those spaces, tears, frustration, I had them all. But there was not space in my day to unpack any of that.
Yeah.
Going into the bathroom was the safest space that I had to allow, that release, or talking to my mom, because my mom and my aunts were, specifically my mom, because she has a master's in computer science. She was like that role model for me to understand what the environment was like. And she was like, it's going to be difficult.
And it still goes back to hidden figures. I'm hearing this story. I'm hearing this story.
Yes, yes,
So
yes.
so like with all of that and bringing a certain vibe of this into your own personal brand, how is that how are you unpacking that? How are you making it work for you?
That is my challenge right now. So I have a couple challenges. Number
Okay.
one, having this legacy of corporate America in my head, meaning you have to show up a certain way.
Mhm.
Granted, that was why I left corporate America, because I understood my personality does not fit with their
Ain't gonna
model
work
at
no more.
all.
Mhm.
Their box is too limited and too rigid. So my challenge is, okay, I'm trying to shed that persona to show up fully as myself, authentically as
Mhm.
myself. And I want to put a pin in fully, authentically as myself, while also trying to educate people on what coaching is. Because what I find is people exclusively look at the price of coaching.
Yeah.
And once they see that it is in the thousands upon thousands of dollars, it immediately triggers shutdown. Okay, I can't do this. I don't want to invest.
Mhm.
And so I'm finding that I'm trying to show up authentically, find ways to show up authentically as myself, educate people on what coaching is, and then sell what the value
The
of
value.
coaching.
Okay.
Yeah. So those are my challenges right now.
Okay. So when I'm hearing this, and that's the thing. A lot of times people and oh, it just taps my heart when certain people like, I want to be a coach, and they don't fully understand what coaching is. Coaching is a lot of fucking questions. And
Yes.
you have to help people navigate through all of those questions. But
Yes.
yeah, you think because what they really want to do, oh, I want to give advice. That's what you really
No,
want to
that
do,
is
but you want to coach.
and And that's not coaching.
That's not
And that's
coaching.
so that's why I try to explain to people, tell me what you think coaching is.
What do I
And
think coaching is? I think what I call it is I help people get out of their own way.
thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Many people lead with it's advice giving. No, it's
No,
not.
no,
Well, it's consulting. No, it's not.
no.
Coaching is about helping an individual unlock. We
Yes.
all have the answers within, but we have so much shit that's around us that we fail to listen to ourselves because
Yes.
we don't trust ourselves.
Yeah.
So if you are able to sit still, which unfortunately, the pandemic did happen, but it required a lot of people to sit their asses at home,
Mm-hmm.
get clear with themselves, and think about what they wanted to do next. And once people can do that, oh my gosh, so
It hits
many things
different.
can,
Mm-hmm.
right. You
Mm-hmm.
get real clear on what you will do and what you won't do moving forward.
So then the thing becomes instead of trying to make people understand coaching, it's about how do you define the way that you unlock. So if you're going to bring it into the personal
Mm,
brand, how are you going to explain that? Is and like I said, I just telling people, you know what? I help you be that ballerina that herds cats or whatever. That's your solution. And people want to say, "Oh, well, tell me more."
mm.
But you have to tie it together with being that velvet hammer. What the fuck does a velvet hammer have to do with some cats in the room? Because that shit sounds violent.
Now, come on now. You using my favorite word. You know I'm violent.
Hey, I'm here for the violence. You know I
Look,
got you.
look. And I think that's part of the challenge, trying to make the connection
Mhm,
because I don't believe, for me, how I show up as a coach, I don't believe in putting you through a system and
mhm.
saying, hey, come in here. And then 12 weeks later, you come out as X.
Yeah.
Because for me, that feels as if it's about me.
Mhm.
It is not about what you need. And what happens with my clients oftentimes is they come in with, okay, yeah, got it. I got this goal. I want this thing to be accomplished at the end of our time together. Okay, great. No problem. Cool, cool, cool. We start talking and they discover and uncover things about themselves such that those goals go out the
Out the
fucking
window.
window and they're
Yes.
like, okay, hold on. What's all this stuff? How do we play with this? Let's unlock this.
Mhm.
And trying to explain and convey that portion, that it's all about you. You are the secret sauce. Getting people to understand that that is my type of coaching without it
Okay.
being
Okay.
formulaic
So
is where
then
I'm stuck.
so could it be that the whole velvet hammer of it all is like your clients have this issue of trying to be a ballerina trying to herd cats. Give that to them. And so where the velvet hammer comes in is it's not about hitting you over the head, but it's hitting hard enough to unlock you trying to herd
Mm,
all
I,
those cats.
I like that because a lot of the clients that I work with, multi hyphenated, dual
Yes.
degree, got a
Yes.
lot of shit going on.
Hmm.
They are like accomplished women,
Yes. Yes.
and they are at that point in their lives where they look up and either realize, you know what, this ain't really my dream. This was like my mama's dream,
It's a
or
thing.
I've
It's a
been in
thing.
this career. I have all these degrees. Is this it? Is this all to
That's
life?
all the cats running around in their head.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and y'all know I'm not playing a race card, but the way that we're always told is that, you know what, we have to be strong black women.
Correct.
So as strong black women, it looks like that ballerina is dancing when actuality she's tripping over all these fucking cats.
Correct.
Who they
Correct.
told her she needed to be, how they told her to get educated, how they told her to get a man. All these fucking cats are running around the room, and I'm
Yeah.
trying to be graceful about my shit because I was
Yeah.
told to be a strong black woman.
That
So
that resonates. I like that.
yeah. And so giving that identity to them is you and the thing that you can do is I understand it from an engineering perspective. Because let me tell you the cats I had to herd. So
So
now
tying
you get
my
to
story to their pain
yes.
was my pain. Okay. Oof. Oof.
And it just,
Oh,
and like I said, it lends itself to you being able to tell your story over and over when people are talking about, okay, what do you mean by being a ballerina trying to herd cats? And then you get to talk to them. Well, you know how you're trying to do this, you're trying to be this, you're trying to have that, because they also told us we could have it all. Picture that as a bunch of cats running around the room, and here come your graceful ass trying to do all the things.
right,
It's
right.
not working. So I have to come with the velvet hammer to crack that shit open so you can figure out what the fuck you want to do.
Okay, so has anyone ever like paused in the middle of the podcast and say, "Hold up, I'm gonna have to run this back again to hear
Yes.
all these gems?" Because I'm like, okay, okay, my mind is blown at this point.
Because it and this is what why people what the way I do strategy and so forth, it's like, let's find out where you are first. You are my client. And it's like I need to figure out where you are. Because the
Right,
way that brand strategy is normally supposed to happen, let's look at your audience and see what they're asking for and then give it to them. I'm not
right.
doing that. Let me figure out what I have to offer and put it out here and attract.
Eh, yes, because the other way to me feels as if you're begging,
Yes.
and
And
that's
why so
not what
many
I
people have imposter syndrome.
and that's not what I want.
Mhm.
I want to be clear on what the offer is, and
Mhm.
if it's for you, great. If it ain't, move along so somebody else can get in
Can help
line.
you and somebody I can
Right,
help somebody else. Yes.
right.
Yes.
And I think that's where, as a solopreneur, when you start off, you are trying to do so many things
Yeah.
simultaneously.
Yes.
But then you also are looking at your eyes are off your own
Yes.
paper.
Yes.
Okay? You are comparing your race to somebody else's
Mhm.
when first that's unfair. Second, that might not be for you. So I can speak for myself. It's confusing as
It is.
hell.
And
And
like
you're like, "Okay, what do I do? What do I try this? Do I try this?" Like, what do
it's too
I
much.
do? It is
It's too
too
much.
much.
And
It
it's
is too much.
I just signed a new client today, and that was one of the things that I tell people. Brand strategy, like I say, this is the brand strategy I was taught, and I'm grateful for the education, but then I had to throw
Mhm.
all that shit out the window because what you just said is a thing. Why do I have to compare myself? Why do I have to do a competitive analysis so
Right.
that I can feel bad about where I am in the game? How
Right.
about I just show up with the game that I have and I progress? So it's you being able to step into the fact that, you know what, I come with this velvet hammer to crack this shit open. And that's you.
Right.
That's how you do your thing. And it doesn't require me to look at somebody else and see what they're doing. The gentleman that I just onboarded today, his thing was like, well, I saw what everybody else was charging, so I kind of pull the price out of my ass. That's kind of good. But then the fact is you don't know their overhead. You don't know
Right.
their labor cost. You don't know the cost of their materials. So comparing yourself to that price is not a fair it's not a fair assessment. So you have to figure out your own numbers based on your own whatever it is you're doing.
Right.
And it's no different than your brand. When they tell you do a competitive analysis, and as Marty Newmeyer will tell you, to fill the gap, to find that ladder and be on that ladder at a certain level, I get it and I understand it. And it's good for a certain status of where you are in business.
Mhm.
But when you're a solopreneur, fuck a ladder. The only ladder I want to be on is mine. So I'm
It
always at the top of the rung on that ladder. That's the gap I'm going to
yeah.
fill. Showing up as me and myself in the best way that I know how as my personal brand. But then when I get my ass off that ladder, I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna be Phyllis. Because the way I was in my previous business, I was always on that fucking ladder. I was always
Mhm.
Mrs. Mister. Always. I never came off that ladder.
Right.
I wore it as if it was my own identity, which is why now
Yeah.
I preach so much about separating your who from your do. This
Well,
is who I am and this is what I do. Go ahead,
it's
sir.
so interesting that you say, to have that level of separation and not compare, because if I really think about it, Phyllis, in my personal life, my competition, literally my entire career, the only competition I've ever had is me. Meaning I want to be better than I was 6 months ago, a year from now. I've never compared myself to other people to say I need to do that thing that somebody else is doing. If anything, I've always been the person, if everybody is going in this direction, if they're going left, I am going right. Because I'm like, I know there's nothing over there on the left for me.
Mm-hmm.
I always go right. And so this is no different. And again, that first class has that two-word brand masterclass has
Mm-hmm.
transformed me because like I told you, I updated my copy. It went from I to we.
Mm-hmm.
So much so that one of my girlfriends, she's like, hey, she sent me a text. Hey, I got a question. Did you hire somebody? I'm like, what are you talking about? She said your language, your copy went from I to we. And no, boo, no, I didn't hire anybody. I'm not the brand. I said, I am Alexis. And when I'm done with work, I'm not a coaching and consultant is over there. He was
Yes.
like, oh, that's so smart. Yes, yes. I know. Thank you. I learned it. I learned it.
And that is so important to me, because now, like I said, we have to learn how to continue to live our lives outside of the things that we do.
Yeah.
And because, y'all know, I wrote a book about it. Balance is bullshit. It is all my life. Whether I'm over here working or whether I'm sitting with my husband, talking to my daughter, that's all my life. I'm not looking for balance. I'm like, this is what I'm doing right now. I don't have to take a break from my life. Oh, I'm burnt out. I got to go rest. And no,
Right.
trust and believe. When I'm done with the day, I'm done with the day. It is no burnout. I'm fuck it. No, you can't call me. No, I'm not answering my phone. No,
Right.
I'm not taking the day off. I'm just done. And it's getting past all of the things that they tell us we are. They tell us that our attention span is short. You got 3 seconds to get them to notice your thing. No.
And I don't live like that. I don't live, and I've never, that's what the thing about marketing that has confused me because I don't care if the number is 3 seconds. What is for me is gonna find me.
It's going to that part. And you
And
met
I don't need to jump through like these crazy hoops. And
algorithm hoops. Yes.
because here's the one thing I can promise you and your listeners. Let me tell you one thing that your girl ain't never ever gonna do. Okay? You will not see me shaking my ass on TikTok.
That part.
Because again, as a solopreneur, there are only so many hours in the day. And I can't be every place. And if I'm spending,
No.
and I had to learn this, if I'm spending all my time mining for information on social media, then what about these people that are in real life
Yeah.
that could be potential clients?
Yeah.
Maybe I find other ways to, onboard or retain clients.
Mm-hmm.
It has been such an eye opener that the information that's out there is not all of it. Some of it is BS.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's BS because it's easy to say, you know what? All you have to do to become more productive, get up at 4 o'clock, take you a 30-minute ice bath, drink a green juice, do yoga on your head for 2 hours, and then bam, day's done. Fuck out of here. Oh, and don't forget, you can make $20 million in 20 seconds.
Oh my God. Don't they tell you that? Don't they tell you that? And it's one of the things, and you've met my client Ebony. Ebony is
Hmm.
one of my very early clients. And the thing with her, one of the reasons why she was struggling for so many years, and I think it was, I won't say so many because it's not like 4 or 5 or whatever, but the reason she was struggling is because all of the coaches and so forth that she had before were telling her to condense, stop talking so much, stop writing so much, stop doing. People only got, you got to catch their attention. They got to be there within 2 to 3 seconds and all of that kind of. That's what she kept hearing. And so
Mm,
trying to tell Ebony to shut her brain down and to condense it was like telling her, you know what, just go the fuck home and get a job. You may as well have
mm,
told her that. But the reason she said she was attracted to me, because my only question to her was why. If you have all the words and all the knowledge, and then your thing is about attracting people who want to read all the words, who want to hear all the knowledge, who want to get into this. what does she used to call herself? Philosophical thinker mode.
Mm.
And when she decided, like, yeah, well, fuck them, I'm rolling with you, that's when her business changed. And she went from being a coach to having a coaching academy. And she ended up turning disagreements on Facebook into money because the person like you first she was mad because Ebony fronted her, but she called her own self out. But then she was like, okay, but I like what you said. How can I work with you? That's how
Oh.
that's how that shit went.
Oh.
And it's like this and it's because you realize how to talk about your thing. You understand what you can do. And like I said, you know what? I help you get them cats under control. You no longer have to be a ballerina in a room full of cats. Cause I'm gonna break this open with this velvet hammer. That's how I'm gonna do this.
So how do you, because this is the one thing that like I've recognized that I don't I don't label myself as an empath, but I
Okay.
tend to attract
Mhm.
people who require, no, let me say it this way. I attract people who love my energy and want to be
Mhm.
close to it.
Mhm.
And I've known that early on, but there's also a subset of that population that is, what's another word that's not broken? They're not broken.
They're not.
They need help.
Okay.
They're needy.
They're
Let me say it.
okay.
They're needy. And as such, they feel that I can provide the answers because they've been close to the sun. They
Mhm.
want some more of this sun next to
Yeah.
them, and they're like, "You're the
Mhm.
only person who has the brand of sun that I want,"
Mhm.
and that's great. The challenge is they don't have the money to pay me.
Okay.
So my question is like, how, understanding that people are going
Yeah.
to gravitate towards you
Yeah.
regardless,
Yeah.
whatever.
You
You
can't
can't
you
do
can't
anything.
stop that. Yeah.
Right, right,
Yeah.
and that's fine because I know I'm an engagement motherfucker. Okay, I
I
know that.
feel you. I got you. Yes.
But, how do you get to the point where if you have a certain audience
You
that,
start to repel. You want to repel those people.
yeah,
It comes across in your messaging, sweetheart. Your
uh,
messaging is not clear enough to repel those folks. So
got
it's
it,
like when you're doing your marketing, like you said, you're educating people about coaching, then you have to start planting seeds about the type of client that you want. And if money is an issue, then you have to find a way to work money into the marketing. And it's like,
gotcha,
you know
yep,
what? I remember when I used to charge $100 a session, and I realized when I raised it to $1,000 a session, the level of clients changed. That's just planting a seed. It's that simple. So don't come at me with your $100 trying to get me.
wow.
It's that simple.
And I overthought that and did not think it was that simple. But
It's
hearing you say it, that makes perfect sense because I'm not asking for anything.
no.
I have, as you said earlier, I've shifted it onto
Mhm.
the individual reading,
Yes.
and they then make a determination what
If
they want to do with that
yeah.
information.
It's like, oh shit, I gotta go. I have so many people that reach out to me. I'm saving my money so I can work with you. I can't wait till I get some money together so I can work with you. I said, that's fine, sweetie. I look so forward to it. I cannot wait either. And that's it. Because the thing about having a certain level of pricing for yourself, a lot of people are uncomfortable talking about pricing. And I can
Mhm.
get it. It's because we have been told that, charge your worth. And some of us have, like me being the self-conscious individual that I am, that would be very hard for me. It's not nearly as hard for me now, but based
Mhm.
on me being self-conscious, oh, that was the wrong thing to say. Because I was the one that wrote the book about having problems with dick, and dick because I didn't know how to love myself. And so there's this thing about yeah,
Go ahead, because that's a whole other.
that's a whole
I
other
got
conversation.
questions.
But the thing, so when you tell people to charge their worth, it's like, how much am I worth? And and that's what they try to base their pricing on. Charge your worth. You can't,
Right.
because the thing that we have to realize as people is that we're priceless. So there is no
Correct.
price tag on that. But I can
Right.
charge you for this work. I can value the work. So when I tell you my time is worth this amount of money based on the result that I'm going to give you, that's just what it is. Sweetie, you can't afford me. I stopped pimping myself out years ago. So
As a
when you go ahead.
as a coach, like, okay, some things in coaching are not as cut and dried as at the end, we're gonna have this thing.
Mhm.
Like as a business coach, let's just say I can help you craft a business plan, and that is a tangible output.
Okay.
But if I'm working with you to unstick your life, at the end of that, and everybody's level of, getting unstuck could be
Mhm.
different, and what
Yeah.
they get at the end is different. How are you then conveying to people what you what that end
What that
product
looks like?
is? Yeah,
Again,
since it's various.
the thing
Right.
that I talk about, I don't talk about you pitching. I don't want you pitching. That shit is old. Come on now. Pretty soon
Right.
they're gonna be zapping us around like we on the Jetsons and shit. It's like, elevator pitches are old. But the thing about it is that you convey this again through your marketing messaging, how you're putting
Mm.
out content. When you say, you know what, some of the challenges I deal with in my business as a coach are these. And it's just as
Mm.
simple as saying, you know what, one of my clients, this was a problem. I had a client that had a similar problem. It took her 3 months, whereas it took her 6. So you're establishing that everybody doesn't reach their result in the same time frame, but
Okay.
even though they have similar problems. Because when you
Okay.
start to and this is why audience research is important. Because when you start looking at your audience and realizing what type of clients you actually want to work with based on the ones that you already have, it's like, oh, she was my favorite. And so you start to look for a pattern of how this
Mhm.
audience is going to work for me. Ideal clients aside, we're just looking at the audience. I need me an audience full of you. Can you send me a reference? Oh, girl, I know somebody that needs your help. Because so now you're starting to farm based on the land you already have, which is these existing clients.
Right.
But then you're also putting out marketing content based on, you know what? These are some of the issues I deal with that I'm good at helping you get out of. Because I had a client like this, and you never reveal your client's name,
Right.
but you know that this is an issue. This is an issue, and because you know your audience, you can say this is an issue with Black women over 50 that have this type of job. Now, Black women over
Mm.
50 are starting to listen because you've identified them as part of your audience, and
Gotcha.
you've labeled the problem. I talk about it's like stop depending on pain points and find the trigger, because you can pull the trigger on some joy just as well as you can some sadness.
That's true.
So
That is
if
very
I'm gonna
true.
talk about this from a joyous place, you know what? Let me pull the trigger on this. You know what? Let me tell you how I got this chick right here happy. So you're talking about I want that kind of joy. I want to wake up with that kind of joy. Whatever you said you did, that's what I want. How long do you think it's gonna take, sweetie? I can't promise you how long it's gonna take because it depends on the things we unlock and uncover. How many cats come crawling out of this crazy? That's
Okay, that is, can I steal
you
that
can
one?
you can take it. That's yours.
How
That's
how
yours.
many cats come crawling out of this crazy?
There you go. There you go.
Because that's the part of the education where people, again, are under the impression that a coach tells you what to do, lays out a plan, and all you have to do
No.
is execute. It's like this is two parties, but
Yes.
the analogy I use is we're in a car. I am the passenger. You are the driver. And
Yeah.
if you don't turn the ignition, we go nowhere.
Go nowhere. And this
So
is
I
why I say I cannot in good conscience say, I promise you 6 and 7 figures.
Right,
Sweetie, if you don't do the work, the money's not going to come. It doesn't matter how much I give, how much I share with you.
right, right.
If I'm sitting here and like you said, and you just twiddling your thumbs, I can't make this good. I ain't got no gas for this here car.
No. And the thing is, I don't care if you don't succeed in the sense that it's not my goal.
No.
It's not my dream. It's not my aspiration to get unstuck. I am not the individual who is wanting this level of coaching.
Mm,
You came to a
mm,
coach. And so I can't want it for you more than you want it for yourself.
that part. And that is the big, and that's why I say I'm the empathic bitch. Cause sweetie, I promise you, I'ma cry, I'ma laugh, I'ma fight with you, do all the things.
Right.
But as soon as you stop fighting for yourself, Imma go take my ass elsewhere. Fuck you and the horse you rode in on.
Right.
I'm done. Because what you're doing, like you said, you talk about burnout. When you start pouring more into your clients than they're pouring into themselves, now you're dragging them into a result that, you know what? Yeah, I want to go, but no, ain't nobody got time for that.
I tell folks I'm not your mama. And even if I were, if I had children, I wouldn't be
I
raising them
wouldn't act
to
like
be
that. Yeah.
codependent. Right.
Yes. So, like I
Yeah.
say, when people are out here and they're putting out inconsistent messages, especially when they believe they are their brand, it's like, okay, am I looking at your personal life or your business life? Because why do it? I'm be coming up with these crazy images. Some. Why y'all sitting here in bikinis with toast
Yeah.
and red bottom shoes, trying to tell me that you're a coach? I don't see it. Where's the coaching result in this whole image? I see
Right.
lifestyle, and I'm glad for you. Ball it out of control. I don't care. But how is this helping me realize that you can give me the result that I want? So when you start creating a marketing plan that actually includes how you said you wanted your brand to show up, now you're creating messages that speak to these individuals, that incorporates your price, that does what someone told me. What did he call it? He called it social selling,
Mhm. Mhm.
and so forth. And so you begin to talk about these things. And it's not, sweetie, I'm just giving you the story the way that you can understand it, but also with the understanding that I don't do shit for free. I don't do discounts. I tell people I don't give discounts to strangers. I don't even know if I
Right.
like you like that. It's
So
Go ahead.
you want to hear a funny story about that?
Mhm.
This is why I started charging for my discovery sessions. So again, trying to initially help the world
Mhm.
and also comparing how I showed up with everyone else,
Mhm.
seeing everyone else is giving free discovery sessions. Okay, that must make sense. Jump on a call with a woman, and I have specific questions in my Calendly to understand what you're coming to coaching for, about what's your
Mhm.
problem, right?
Mhm.
And can I even help you? Jump on the call. Like, okay, I read that, but tell me in your own words what this means. So I hear it from you. Well, you know, I want you to be on my, I kind of really just wanted you to be on my advisory board. Excuse me? Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm looking for some stuff. I'm having some issues with my company, and I saw you on LinkedIn, and I want to be like you. And so I'm thinking that, you can be on my advisory board.
And your only question should be, how much does that pay?
I was like, Lord, how did I end up here? And then I say it because I am that person. I am self-actualized enough and self-aware enough to know that I can't blame that other person 100% and say it's that person's fault. What did
Mhm.
I do?
Yeah.
And so I said to myself, you haven't been clear with your message.
Yep.
You have given the impression that you are for the streets. You are for anybody. Okay. And if I ever choose to be a hoe in my life, damn well believe it's not going to be for 25 cents.
Hell, I was a hoe for free because I was stupid back then. So hey.
So that taught me that there are certain barometers that need to be in place for people who want to work with you
Yeah.
because not everybody is serious.
Yes.
And and I'm sure you see this as well. People want to change, but people don't want to change.
Yes. Yeah.
And the people who are motivated at least from what I see so far, people who are motivated to work with you, the barrier to entry for a discovery call, if that is problematic, then the coaching fees will send
Yeah.
you through the roof. They
Yeah.
might kill you. But
Yeah.
for people who are ready to move forward, it
Yeah.
is not a big deal. And
Yes.
those are the ones that I want to capture. That's the audience of women that I want to speak to. And this session has made me realize I don't think I've been doing that
Yeah.
accurately or effectively.
One of my clients, when he didn't want a discovery call, he said, how much send me a link to let me know how much it is to book a hour to book your time. So
Yeah.
he paid for the hour consulting, which is $1,000 with me. He paid for
Mhm.
the 2 hour consulting. He said, I don't need 2 hours, but he paid the $1,000 and like, okay, so how do we get started?
Mhm.
So it was never a discovery call. He used the 2 hours like, let's talk about some shit.
Right.
Because for me to there are a lot of people, Ebony, she likes spending an hour with potential clients. Like, okay, let's actually talk. Me, it's like, okay, let me listen. Because if you don't know enough about your own self and
Correct.
what you want from your brand, then it's gonna be too hard. And I'm like,
Yeah.
sweetie, there's some clarification that needs to happen here for you.
Yep. Yep.
Now, if we're going to do this, we're going to spend more time getting you clear than getting you branded. So
Yep.
it's like, how do we want to approach this? And I'm cool either way, because like I said, I am a certified life and business coach, so we can work it out. I don't care.
Right. Right.
But then is that how you want to spend your money and your time? So it's like 20 to 30 minutes is all I need, because I get to decide who I do and do not want to work with. And if I'm not feeling you, regardless of how much money you have, I'm done.
Bingo. Because that to me, that's the purpose of the session.
Yeah,
It's to understand, do I want to work with you for whatever our time
yeah.
period together is? Because earlier you mentioned if I have to pull you, that's a
It's
long
a
couple
long,
months,
yes,
and I don't want to do that to myself.
yeah. And then they're going to feel like they're not making progress, so they're going to blame you. It's like, well, I
Correct.
thought we'd be further along. Didn't I tell you to get clarity before we started this process? So
Yeah.
that's the thing. So it depends on you and how long you want to do discovery. Like I said, I don't charge for my discoveries, because it's if I got 20 minutes, it's like, okay, tell me what you got. How do you think I can help? Okay, how much are you willing to invest in this? When do you want to start investing with this? Okay, so based on what you said, this is what we can do. This is what I have to offer. And it's like, we can go a little, once we get to that point, we can go a little deeper. And now you can ask questions, because if I understand you, because I'm going to tell you back what you said. This is what I heard.
Mhm.
So based on that, you think I can help you with this. And I will tell you if I can or I can't. Because I tell, when people like, well, do you do, I don't do pretty shit. I do strategic shit. So if you're looking for someone that's going to help you design and all of that, no, I can probably look at it and tell you that if your what your message is lining up with the visual that you're creating.
Mhm.
But I design shit. Oh no. You met Vanya. You met him at all.
Yes. Yes.
When I made the marketing planner that I created, he said, please let me do this for you. So I know I don't do pretty shit. I already know. I am not
when
offended. I
when
am not
someone
offended.
says, "Hey, you mind if I take that off your hands?" That's subtext for, "Woo,
And
let me
now
help this person."
Vanya is now my go-to person for
Mm,
graphic design. He is fucking amazing. He is a husband and wife team, Vanya and Angela.
mhm.
Let me not leave my baby Angela out. But they have done some amazing work for me. Now, mind you, they started as my clients and they're still my clients. But now I turn around and give them some of the money back because they design shit for me. So I'm not mad about. I love that I can turn around and hire my clients. But
Right.
it's like I said, to have the conversation, to do a discovery call, you get to set the terms. And like you said, if you call yourself a coach, then you have to understand that in order to lead a discovery conversation, you have to be the one asking the questions. Your potential client needs to be doing most of the talking. If you can diagnose the problem based on their talking, then you know if you have the solution or not.
Right.
And then you should be able to feed that back to them, as far as like, this is how I do. This is how I can help, because I either have this package or this package. And based on your budget, I think we need to start over here. But once we get to a certain point, we either going to have to move here or we're going to have to stop. And that's it.
that I've also found that because people don't have an understanding of what coaching is, they are not clear on how they want to use coaching. And
Mhm.
it's like, okay, that's fine. But do you feel that in 20 minutes that you are going to arrive at that solution? No, that's what coaching is.
Mm-mm. Yep.
And so that it's just been like this delicate it I absolutely know this would be so much easier if I had an actual product. Like if I had a product and said, "Look, here it is, you could purchase it."
Here's the thing though. It's not necessarily easier because if you're not a salesperson, it's still going to be hard for you to sell that thing. The if you frame your message in the result that you provide,
Mhm.
trust me, the more you say it and the more fluent you get in it, now it's like, you know what, this shit rolls off me like this. And based on what I've been talking about, based on my free content that is out here on YouTube and on Instagram, this is all my free content. So to come in and think you're going to get a discount after I've given you all this for free, one, fuck you. But then two, two, it's like, okay, this is you recognize how I work. I told you
Mm.
various stories about my clients. My clients are amazing. I love them to pieces, but
Mhm.
some take longer than others. If you come in here with the expectation that it's going to be ABC 1, 2, 3, boom, I'm done, then you don't understand coaching. And I have not expressed myself clearly. So
Right.
let me be clear. And I get to reframe it. And if you still don't understand, then you know what? It's probably not going to work then. And while I appreciate you now, if you still want to invest and figure out if it can, I'm more than willing to work with you. But it's just you if you know that your message is not coming across to attract the right people, then like I said, you need to go and revisit your message.
Okay. When as a solopreneur, like
What?
because there but no, because there's just so many things that you are doing
Yeah.
that are trying to do simultaneously because you are literally everything.
You're a
Like
business
if
of
you
one.
when you think through, you know, 3 critical items that you just absolutely must do daily.
Mhm.
Let's say daily because I think the basics are, if you need to have all of your shit together, like
Yeah.
especially if you're in the US, you need an
Yeah.
EIN, right? You need just
Yeah.
like those are just basics. But what are like some things that a solopreneur needs to be doing every single day? Because consistency seems to be what I'm
Consistency
finding.
is a thing.
It's the thing.
Consistency in a thing.
Yeah.
But it's like what is consistent for you? And people think that consistent means I have to show up with this every day. I have to be on social media every day. No, my level of consistency is like I show up twice a week. That's
Right.
how consistent I am. And then I show up twice a week here. And then maybe once a month I do this. Like I do happy hours every other month. I was
Mhm.
actually gonna do that shit every 6 months. But people like, no, we can't wait, we can't wait. So it's now every other month. But even in that, I'm still limited because said once it reaches the capacity, if I can see everybody in the screen, nobody else can come in
Yeah.
because I don't want to have to flip through screens to
Right.
I don't believe in creating FOMO for people. That's not what I do. But I
Yep.
also don't believe in overextending myself. And because I like working one on one, I don't have a problem exchanging time for money where everybody else is trying to, you know what, everybody else wants passive income. I get passive income through investing. I get passive income through collecting rent. I got passive income.
Mhm.
So when I'm asking you to take up you want to take up my time and you want me to take up yours, sweetie, this is the price. So as you do, you figure out what's consistent for you. Maybe consistency is like, you know what, I batch content every Monday so that I don't have to do it anymore throughout the week.
Mm.
So now I'm just on through maybe throughout the week as I do it, then maybe during this time of the day, this is when I engage with people who actually responded to what I put out. My call to action. Maybe I part of it is like, you know what? I'm improving myself within my craft. I don't do brand strategy the way other people do brand strategy, but I'm writing a brand strategy course right now.
Mm.
And sometimes I'm that person that I like being the dumbest person in the room when I'm learning. But in this particular case, I'm not. So I don't want to step on the toes of anybody else's program. It's like, no, don't ask me. But you've been doing this, but this is his program. You have to ask
Mm.
him and respect his business.
Right.
So a lot of times people think I'm not participating, but my thing is I'm not trying to step on anybody's toes. That's it.
Or as you
But
said, I respect your house.
I respect your house. So I'm always trying to learn something. I always learn
Okay.
something. So figuring out what do you consistently want to do? Do you want to improve? Do you want to get better at marketing? Do I need to understand marketing? Because people talk about doing all the things as a business of one. Working on your business, the biggest things that you need to know is marketing, negotiation, and then once you get to a point, you actually raise your prices enough to afford a VA to take some shit off your plate. That is my thing. I want when I have people who are strictly a business of one, sweetie, I want you to raise your price enough to be able to hire a virtual assistant at the very least. Because that administrative bullshit needs to come off you. Now we got your VA. Now we need to raise your prices enough so that you can hire a bookkeeper.
Mm,
Because I need to get that off my plate. So you can still be a business of one where you're the face and you're all the things, but the back end, somebody else is handling that.
and also and this might seem like a silly question, but I'm gonna ask it
No,
anyway.
no, ask it.
The and from all that I've read, do you classify like lead generation under marketing, like how you're sourcing clients, how you're finding clients, how they're finding you? Do you put that under the umbrella of marketing, or is that a completely different
No,
category?
it can go under the umbrella of marketing because it's just like I was talking about farming earlier.
Mm,
When you have clients, farming is marketing. You're sending out an email like, this is my favorite client and I want 10 more like those. So you know what? You write them a letter, you write them an email. I so appreciate working with you and you're one of my favorite clients. I would love to have another one like you. If you know anyone that is like you, don't send me no other crazy shit. Let's be clear. I want another client like you. And if you know someone, please give them my number. That's you
okay,
farming. Farming is marketing. But if
okay,
you're on the hunt, so you're out here hunting, then maybe you're in the LinkedIn DMs and you're hunting for the clients that you want. But if you're creating content, this is you trapping. So that your marketing, you have a marketing trap. So the content is what's bringing them in. Content, content, I done lost my train of thought a little bit, but content marketing takes longer than the hunt. Just know that. You probably close better deals as long as you know your shit and you could talk about it well. You will close more deals actually having a conversation with somebody. Waiting for people to discover your content and for algorithms and all the moons to be aligned and all that shit for somebody to find you can take anywhere from 6 months to a year to whatever. One of the things that Chris Doe, so because y'all know that everybody know more than one Chris, but when Chris tells his story, one of the things he talks about is that he was on YouTube for years before his numbers went like this and shot up.
mhm,
So this is content marketing, which is trapping, takes longer because people have to find you.
right,
When you're on
right.
the hunt, you're finding them. Now, I don't want you to use hunting with chasing. I didn't say chase them down like a gazelle in the
I was I was
Sahara.
gonna ask you the difference. I look that we are thinking alike because I'm like hunting. Isn't that like chasing and
No,
begging?
no, because what you're doing is like when you see potential clients, say if you're on LinkedIn and you see a potential client and they're in your comments, they're like, this is so true. I probably should have known. That's who you would send a DM to. I so appreciate you for commenting on my thing. And I want to make sure that we stay connected. So in case you ever need some help. And because
Look at that.
based on what you said, I want to send you a link to this video I did. Tell me what you think when you're done.
Or here's like a PDF of whatever that I got. Man, stop playing with me.
That's the hunt. It
That's
don't
not
have
what
to,
I
like I
thought
said, you
it
don't
was.
have to chase them down like a gazelle on the Sahara. You don't have to tear the flesh off their back because, like I said, that's what pitching is. That's you dropping in the DM. Oh, I'm so glad you. Can I send you this? And I would love to get on a call with you. Bitch, you just met me. Stop trying to get in my drawers. I get
Facts.
that so much.
Facts. Yeah.
But if you're doing your due diligence, if that person is in your comments and you went and looked at what they have, like what they've been posting, like I get people sending me connection requests all the time. Sweetie, unless it's either mutual or I can learn from you, I'm not gonna connect. I'm sorry. It's no hate and no shade, but and especially when your shit is not in I only speak English, and I speak bad English at that. If this is not in English, I can't what good does it do me to connect with you?
Right. Okay, that makes sense because like even in my tech career, I specifically did not entertain anything that had to do with sales because that's not my
Mhm,
ministry. I've always been client facing. I enjoy that. Like I enjoy the difficult clients. I enjoy that.
yes,
But,
but
but I enjoy it from the perspective of being Vanna White, being correct. Here's this beautiful object.
Uh-huh.
Not, hey, let me get you into the door for
Yeah,
Wheel of Fortune.
yeah,
I'll do that.
yeah.
And so I think that's also been part of the like learning curve between, hey, I had an organization full of sales folks and if I had questions, I could
Yes.
just ask
Go to
them
them, yeah.
to now, well, how the hell do you sell on LinkedIn without coming across as a creep like
Yeah,
every other person who slides in your
like every other
DMs?
creep on there, yeah.
Right. And so you just simplified it because the opener is that person responded to
To me,
me, to my content, and all I
yes.
have to do is plant the seed.
Engage.
That's it.
Yeah,
If they want to do anything else, that's on them.
yeah,
And that approach feels more resonant with
yeah.
who I am. It feels authentic for me.
Mhm.
Because here's the thing, I don't want a business where I have to chase. I want to attract. I
There
want the
you go.
people who need me to see me someplace, read my information, look at the website and say, you know what, that's someone I want to work with. And then after a conversation, realize, oh, this is the person I know that can help me.
Yeah.
I don't want to, hey, hey, look at me. I'm a coach. Hey, come over here. I'm the Velvet Hammer. No, that's me. That's me. That's me. Come over here. I don't want to do that.
There you go.
That goes
And that's the
against
thing.
anything that it feels icky
But
all
see,
over.
here's the thing, because every once in a while, there's somebody that we wanna hunt, and it's because there's an opening there. That it one of the I did human Ebony did my human design a while ago, and one of the things that she told me, and it resonated with me because it is me. I get really, like I said, I'm already self-conscious, but when I give advice or say anything, when somebody hasn't asked for it and they respond a certain way, I just kinda shrink inside because, like, you know what, you should have kept your mouth shut. You shouldn't have said shit. They
Mm.
weren't talking to you. But she said when someone invites you into a conversation, that's when you know how to shine. And so when someone is in your comments, they're inviting you to a conversation. It doesn't have
Mm.
to be a long conversation. It doesn't have to be a a like like I say, pulling the elevator pitch out your ass. It just has to be, you know what? I so appreciate you for coming. And I just wanted to come back here and say, I appreciate you.
In and out.
In and out. And
Do you
if they connect with that, it's like, you know what, I'm glad you sent me a thing. Let's stay in contact. And then you can just ask, is it okay if I send you something every now and then? Because I don't want to harass you. I don't want to be your stalker. And if they give you permission, now you can send them things. It's
that I can do. That's
that
common sense.
that's a hunt because you know you want that person. Because not only did you, if you just stopped at looking at their LinkedIn, you didn't
Mhm.
do your due diligence. You should have went and checked their websites. You should have went and see if they have any other social media, seeing how they're doing their thing, if they're engaging. And it's like, you know what? I think I kind of like them. Because otherwise, just sending messages to people because they commented on your thing,
Right.
that's not doing your due diligence. There's too much social media out here for you to kind of figure out, you know what, if I actually want to engage with this person or not. Or if I just want to
Right.
comment in down here, sweetie, thank you. I appreciate you for saying something.
Because all the narrative that I've been reading is, okay, if someone responds, then just slide in their DMs. And like you said, it feels scattershot
It
because
does.
maybe that's not somebody that I want to work with.
Mhm.
But you're right. I don't do that extra level of due diligence. It's
Mhm.
just you commented, yay,
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Pick me. And it's like, oh, it feels
Yeah.
icky.
Somebody commented on one of my things. He said, "I'm sorry I didn't connect with you in Bend, Oregon." And the only thing I sent back to him, I said, "Sweetie, when they call me back, you can buy me a bourbon." That's it. He said, "I'm down for that." Okay. So if I ever get to Oregon, we have a conversation. Dude, you owe me a drink. That's it.
That's the part that I think that warmth. Like I
Mhm.
have it with people I know or people that I have some familiarity with. But people that are still relative strangers on LinkedIn,
Mhm.
that level of warmth has not unlocked in me
And
yet.
see that is, like I say, me being empathic, I can do that easily with anybody because that's just who I am.
Right.
But when you talk about it, when you say you're not empathic, but you are compassionate. So find a
Mm.
way to be compassionate in the moment. To be
Oh,
so don't try and be empathic if it's not you. But if you can be compassionate, if someone's like, yeah, this is, then show compassion about their response. Then
that
you
I
can
can
be
do.
compassionate. Yeah.
That I can do. Yeah.
And this is why I say it's based on how you can best show up. This is your personal brand showing up. This is not some gimmicky shit. Oh,
Right.
the sales guru says as soon as they say something, hurry up and send them a DM so they know that you come on now. That's not how you stay top of mind.
Right.
The way you stay top of mind, the way Alexis stays top of mind, you know what? I'm compassionate. And I talk about herding cats. That's how I stay top of mind. Because I got a fucking velvet hammer. Come on.
And I can tell that, though my content resonates based on the engagement, based on the feedback, based on the DMs, people and I whatever. I still don't understand some of the messages from people because again, I live with myself 24/7. But from what I feedback I've received, it's man, your content is very direct. It is very straightforward. You do not pull punches. I could tell you are like a force to be reckoned with. And I'm like, okay, that's great.
But why are you telling me this?
You
Here's another thing, especially on LinkedIn. One of the things you have to distinguish between people trying to capitalize on the audience that you have, making comments like that, and
mm,
people who may be potential clients. Because if you're a coach commenting on my shit about being a coach, sweetie, that's you trying to capitalize on my audience.
mm,
Versus someone being in your comments that because you said, you know what, black femmes in tech and da da da, if they have it that in their little short bio that they're black femme in tech, that's a different type of conversation.
okay. This is the thing. My goal, I need to get to the point where I make enough money so I don't have to deal with any of this. I don't
Everybody
I,
wants that. Everybody wants that. But it,
like build it I don't know if and I go back to what is his name? Is it Kevin?
Kevin Roberts, yes. Kevin's everybody's favorite because everybody want to help Kevin.
Every time I think of him, I'm like, I go back to like I built my own website
Hmm.
by myself. Like this was no one else. And so when I hear the person who builds websites for people say that they don't have a website yet, I kind of want to jump through the Zoom sometimes.
It's the barber that won't cut his own hair. That's what it is.
That's a good example, right?
That's what it is.
But there's so many things that we do.
Yeah.
I'm like, this some days. Let me ask the question instead of saying it
Okay.
that way. The isolation of solopreneurship
Okay.
can be lonely some
Very.
days
Yeah.
because you go from, especially if you've worked in a corporate space where you just have people around you
Mhm.
all the time,
Yes.
to it's just you.
Me. Mhm.
And, if you run into a problem at work, you could talk to your coworkers, strategize. It's you.
Did you?
And it's great that you get to make all the decisions, but you also have to figure everything out. Where do you create space to have in person conversations to create that community of other entrepreneurs, or at least people who understand the experience?
You met him, Grandma's open house.
Oh, okay.
Grandma's open house. But then the other part is like me, Ebony, and Cass used to do we used to run rooms on Clubhouse. And
Mhm.
so some days we would be on calls, just us three talking for like 5 and 6 hours. And they'll be like, get y'all asses off of Zoom. Because we would just be caught up because there is that loneliness. And because
Right.
we don't want to inundate our partners and spouses and stuff
Yes.
with the conversation because they don't want to hear it anymore. So
Right.
when you have a captive audience of people that want to vent just as much as you do, you don't know how to get off the fucking phone. But it's also the reason because I know it's lonely out there. It doesn't bother me. I'm a loner. I'm very independent. So being by myself doesn't bother me per se. But I know there are a lot of solopreneurs out here who aren't getting the love that they and the support that they want because
Mm,
people don't understand, why are you spending so much time on this thing? Wouldn't it be easier just to go get a job? And these are folks that love you. So they're saying it out of love, but we don't take it
right.
as love.
Right. Right.
So if you have a space where you can go and vent about some shit, it's like, you know what? This shit is hard. This is what I had to go through today. I had a client on the hook and for some reason I couldn't close the deal. Help me feel a little better. Sweetie, we've all been there. So we can all understand and we can all cheer you on for the next one. We can also give you what worked for us. But even though it worked for us, doesn't mean it's going to work for you. So you got
Right.
to figure out, how can you apply all of this great support you just got? It becomes a situation. Are you trying to sneeze?
It felt like it. It felt like it.
But is like I say, it's finding a certain group of people that you're not trying to feed off of. And by that,
Yeah.
I'm like, you don't be trying to take advantage. I don't Cass and Ebony, we spend money with each other. I just had a session with Cass because Cass is policies and procedures. Now
Mhm.
again, Cass was my client. But once we figured out her brand and all that stuff and she started getting some shit together, when I have policy and procedure issues, I book a sip and chat with her. That's $200 some dollars.
Right.
And so I invest in her the same way she invested in me, but she was also investing in herself to get her brand done. So it does not take anything away from me to say, you know what, Cass, come on. But I'm gonna respect your business and I'm gonna respect your game. I'm gonna pay you. Because
Mhm.
best believe when you come to me, you're gonna have to pay me.
Right. Right.
That's it. So when I go to Cass and I say, you know what, help me create a process for this. When Cass did my cancellation policy is very bespoke because one of the things I talk about, I treat my emails like I treat my chocolate. I don't share your email. That's my policy. Stop laughing.
I treat your email like I treat my chocolate. Okay.
Yes. And
Okay.
so it's so working with her, I get to understand my policies better, things that I can enforce. Because if I have
Mm,
policies I can't enforce, then they're wasted
correct. Correct.
and so forth. So it's finding certain people that you're not necessarily trying to take advantage of. People will approach you all the time. Can you be my mentor? No, sweetie, I can't. Because all you're trying to do is get all of this for free and then go charge $1,000 for it, and you still don't know shit.
Yeah, that's the one thing about me. I was not built with the get over gene, the get
Yeah,
over vibe, because
yeah,
it's like that for me, energy is everything, and that takes
yeah.
too much energy, and I ain't got time for that. I
You got
don't,
it.
and I know not everybody
Yeah,
operates that way,
yeah,
and that's fine.
and that's
But
fine.
you brought up a good point that sparked another question. You mentioned you schedule a sip and chat
Uh-huh.
with her. Is there a such thing for a solopreneur, especially, one less than, 3 years? Is there such thing as having too many offerings? And
Yes.
how do you, okay, okay,
Yes.
okay. How do you frame up then? I hate to use this word, but
Sweetie, you gotta
the,
package your shit.
No, no, no. It is
Okay.
packaged, but
Okay.
what's an ideal number of packages to offer?
How much time you got and how much time do you want to spend?
Oh,
I have 3 offers. I have the two-word brand. That takes me about a couple of hours depending on how open and honest you are with me. I have branded timeout. That's 13 weeks. That's me going through full strategy with you, not for you, so that you understand what your brand is and so you can start activating it right away. That's 13 weeks. But then I have branded university, which is 9 months to a year. Those are the only
okay.
3 things I offer outside of just a one-on-one consultation. Oh, you want to run in and get some advice? Come on, I'll consult with you. But with the understanding that my consultations does not include anything that's part of my signature programs. Don't come in here like, how do I figure out my DNA code? Fuck if I know. That's not what this session is for. I'm so playing with you.
Absolutely, I can absolutely see you saying that to somebody like, "I don't know what this sounds for."
But based on how much time you want to put in and all of that kind of stuff, that's how I come up with my offers. And like I said, with Brandon University, it maxes out at 10 people. I have 10 clients that I will take for a whole year through a whole ass
Mhm,
process because it's not just about brand strategy, it's about content strategy, marketing strategy. It's about understanding how you communicate. It's unpacking all of these different things. And it's a whole ass process. And it's taking the time to do all of this. And versus, like I say, if you think that you just want to get in and get out, then let's do the 13 weeks. And that's it. So I have a certain number of people that while I'm doing these 10 all year, that I will do this many for the 13-week session. But
okay,
with the branded universe, I mean the two-word brand, those can get in and out. I can plug those in anywhere because it doesn't take me nearly as long unless
right,
you're just trying to do some fluffy crazy shit. Oh, well that no, I don't want to do that. You know what? Don't come to me. Don't come to me.
okay.
This is why you have to be very self-aware when you do a two-word brand. You can't just because a two-word brand, and we about to cut this short because we're over our hour. But
Oh,
the
shoot.
don't worry about it, don't worry. But the thing about a two-word brand, and this is for anybody, because my two-word brand get has been downloaded like a bunch of times, a bunch of times.
Mhm,
But the two-word brand is not as simple as pulling two things out your in making them fit. It
right,
also has to be nuanced enough so your audience understands what it is that you do. Like when you talk about being the coach that's a velvet hammer, then that hits a certain way. I understand that you're hard and soft. So it comes across as that. And when you put it in the context of doing it as a coach, sweetie, I know she got all the questions. They're gonna be hard hitting, but I know it's only to get to that soft space of where I want to be. And so you
okay.
get to when you start putting these two-word brands together, like it's one of my babies, AB. AB hasn't spent a dollar with me, but you know what AB says? I'm your grandson.
That's the
I call
chef, the
no,
the
no,
videographer.
the videographer.
Yeah,
And so he tells I'm the grandson. I call all my clients brand babies. I ain't said brand girl, brand boy. He said, I'm your grandson. He said, I don't care what nobody else say. I'm your grandson. And so when people start to connect with you and you start to build your community and your vibe and your tribe and all this other bullshit or whatever you want to call it,
mhm,
people will say they want to stay connected to you. AB said, I'm ride or die with grandma. And I got you. So when we start talking about being the velvet hammer, you know what? My clients are the nails, or however you gonna do it.
right.
So you know what? How are we going to make this part of the tribe so that they all know that they're connected?
How does it form that community?
How does it form that community based off of this two-word brand? Because ghetto country brand mother, my original two-word brand was ghetto country. I was raised hood adjacent by a country mama. I grew up in the streets of LA for real, for real. I'm all those things. But then once I started getting into branding, you know what? I've been a mother practically all my life because I just have that mother vibe, not because I have children. I don't need a
Mhm,
child to make me a mother. I just happen to have one now.
right.
So being that getting so tying those two things together, now being the ghetto country brand mother, raised hood adjacent by a country mama, and I talk brand all day, every day. So then after that, then came Grandma's House. That's when I named my business Grandma's House because I was trying to keep it under my old name, which was C.K.O.D.E Creator, which was never about what I do now. But I tried to
Mm,
hold on to the name. Then you know what? Then my clients became my it's a progression. Because the more you lean into that two-word brand of being the Velvet Hammer,
mhm.
I promise you, you probably gonna end up changing your company name because what you have now is not gonna the Velvet Hammer is not gonna fit in that space anymore.
Mm,
It's not. And that's why I say two-word brands are scalable.
right, right,
And so my whole Grandma's House is built around, it's built around grandma. So you know what grandma gonna do? She gonna put you in a timeout. We got 13 weeks to get your shit together. She gonna send you to school. You gotta take your ass to Brandon University and get
right.
educated. So my terminology and everything was born out of being the ghetto country grandmother. See what I'm
One
saying?
beget the other beget the
Yes.
other.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
It's a lot to think about.
It is.
But I will say that it has been absolutely informative because some of the stuff, like, that just makes sense. But as with coaching, and you know this, it takes just that one question or
Yes.
that from someone else to just completely shift your understanding of something.
Yes. It does. It's a whole ass situation. A whole
And
ass
I'm
situation.
never gonna look at hunting in the DMs the same ever because I have had some I got some missed opportunities.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not anymore.
And then because of how you market, and this is the last thing I'm gonna say before I shut this down. But when you talk about marketing and we're talking about hunting, trapping, and farming, you can have a marketing mix. You
Hmm.
know what? Only 5% of me is gonna hunt. I'm doing 5% of my marketing is gonna be on hunting. 20% is going to be on farming, and the rest is just based on trapping.
Mm,
So you can hit all three because 5% is comfortable for you.
right,
I don't have to hunt all day, every day. Because then you might get in the mode of if I don't hunt, I don't eat.
right, 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 right. And I've said that before.
So
Okay,
you can have that type of marketing mix for yourself of hunt, trap, and farm.
okay. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm gonna need to listen to this entire thing again with a pen and paper.
Uh-huh, uh-huh. All right, so before we wrap this up, let people know how they can get in contact with you and all that good stuff so we can.
Oh, I am everywhere, all the socials at I Matter Coaching. My website is imattercoaching.com. I'm on LinkedIn, Alexis Mobley. You cannot help but see me out there, smiling face, big curly hair, blue glasses.
I promise y'all, before this year is up, I'm at coaching is gonna change. I bet money on it. I bet money on it. I'm just saying, I'm gonna put it out there. Anybody want to take the bet? Come on, come on. But I so appreciate you for coming on today. This has been such a great conversation. I don't think I went over this much in a while. Y'all know how we do when we close this out. 5, bullshit happens, so suck it up. 4, your voice is important, so speak up. 3, you make the world a more beautiful place, so show up. 2, life is good, so buck up. And 1, I love you and ain't a damn thing you can do about it, so shut the fuck up. Peace and hair grease, y'all. I'm out.